Good morning. It is Monday, February 23, 2026. This is your daily global briefing. I am your anchor for today, delivering a deep dive into the most significant developments from the past 24 hours. We begin our broadcast with a major shift in the geopolitical landscape concerning the stability of the Arctic region and the evolving dynamics of international trade. In Whitehorse, Yukon, the 2026 Arctic Summit officially commences today, bringing together high-level officials from across the Northern Hemisphere to address the urgent dual challenges of climate security and sovereign defense. As melting ice caps open new, albeit contested, maritime routes, the summit serves as a critical forum for nations like Canada and its Nordic allies to reinforce their commitment to a rules-based order in the far north. Simultaneously, on the world stage, the fallout from the recent United States Supreme Court ruling on executive tariff powers continues to ripple through diplomatic channels. While the court has limited the immediate use of broad emergency statutes for trade levies, the United States administration has signaled it will pivot to other federal laws to maintain its protectionist stance, prompting global leaders to weigh the prospect of a more fragmented world order where power increasingly prevails over established cooperation.
Transitioning from the world of diplomacy to the broader global economy, the narrative is being driven by a historic surge in the World Uncertainty Index, which has reached a 30-year peak. This unprecedented reading reflects the combined weight of geo-economic confrontation and institutional instability that has characterized the start of 2026. Despite this atmosphere of high risk, the International Monetary Fund has maintained a cautious but steady global growth projection of 3.3% for the year. This resilience is largely attributed to front-loaded investment and the adaptability of the private sector in major jurisdictions. However, the IMF warns that the balance of risks remains tilted to the downside, as the prospect of higher for longer interest rates looms large in the face of escalating trade tensions. Economists are particularly focused on how middle-income countries are navigating this landscape, as they now account for nearly 40% of global traffic for advanced generative tools, indicating that the digital transition is becoming a primary engine for productivity in an otherwise volatile global market.
In the realm of finance, all eyes are on the upcoming week as markets prepare for a series of critical data releases and central bank testimonies. Following the Supreme Court ruling in Washington, the financial sector is analyzing the potential for massive tax refunds to domestic companies, a move that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent suggested could be managed despite its complexity. On Wall Street, the focus is on the resilience of the technology sector, which has seen some volatility as investors weigh the long-term returns of massive artificial intelligence spending. Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, the House of Commons is set to question the Bank of England governor and senior ministers on the health of the national budget and the implications of new trade sanctions. This scrutiny comes as the global commodities market remains on high alert, with oil prices climbing and cocoa prices reaching record levels due to climate shocks in West Africa, creating a challenging environment for global food manufacturers and institutional investors seeking a hedge against inflation.
Turning our attention to the technology sector, we are witnessing a fundamental restructuring as nations race to secure their digital sovereignty and industrial base. In New Delhi, the Global Artificial Intelligence Summit has concluded with a strong call for more inclusive and cooperative regulatory frameworks. Prime Minister Modi has pitched India as a primary hub for AI innovation, highlighting how automated farming and digital exam grading are already boosting national efficiency. Simultaneously, the Canadian government has advanced its new defense industrial strategy, seeking to deepen partnerships with high-growth economies to drive investment in secure technology supply chains. This regionalization of the tech landscape is being fueled by a projected $2.5 trillion in AI spending for 2026, a scale that surpasses history's largest infrastructure projects. As the race for critical minerals and high-end semiconductors intensifies, the primary driver of strategic advantage has shifted toward the ability to build and maintain resilient, localized tech ecosystems that can withstand global disruptions.
Finally, we look at the logistics and supply chain networks that serve as the vital arteries of global commerce. The industry is currently managing the combined impact of the post-Lunar New Year lull and the continued volatility in major maritime corridors. Logistics providers are reporting a significant shift toward the Americas as 40% of supply chain leaders plan to relocate their manufacturing footprints to reduce tariff exposure and transit risks. This move toward nearshoring is being supported by a surge in industrial AI and digital twin technologies, which allow operators to model complex transportation scenarios before making physical changes.
In the air freight sector, demand is trending upward as shippers seek backup options to bypass port congestion and maritime delays. Despite these technological gains, the industry remains on high alert for regional disruptions, such as the winter storms currently approaching the United States East Coast, which could further strain a logistics system that is already operating at high capacity to meet the demands of an evolving global trade map. That concludes our global briefing for today. Thank you for joining us.